Welcome back. Thank you very much for staying with us. Uganda's opposition presidential candidate, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, alias Bobi Wine, has rejected results of the just concluded general elections in that country. Wine accused the Uganda Electoral Commission of manipulating the results to put incumbent President Yoweri Museveni in the lead with 68% against Wine's 28%, with at least 25% of the total votes tallied. Wine, who referred to himself as the president-elect during a press conference in the capital, Kampala, says that he will announce the way forward later today. Let's get more information. We're now joined by East Africa correspondent Sarah Kimani. A very good afternoon to you, Sarah. What's the latest now from Uganda? Of course, the early results coming from the Electoral Commission. What do you have for us at this time?
Well, not much has changed in terms of the results that the Electoral Commission has released so far. Now, they have tallied 34% of the total votes, and they're talking about President Museveni, the incumbent, having garnered 65% of the vote this far against Bobi Wine, who is the leading opposition candidate, at about 27.46. So quite a margin there, and this is where now the problem comes. Bobi Wine earlier held a press conference, and he said that the whole process was a sham. He said that his party had won by what he said, and I quote, a lot. He didn't give a figure. He said once the internet is back, he will be able to issue his party's tally. But he says he is a president-elect. He has won the elections, and he will be giving his supporters and Ugandans the way forward. Another person who has rejected the results is General Mugisha Muntu of the Alliance Party. While he said now he had left that process, he did not say that he had conceded, but he says that the election was rigged from the word go, the playing field was not level, and so he will not be accepting the results coming from the Electoral Commission.
Sarah, I'm currently sitting on Bobi Wine's social media platform on his page on Twitter, and 5 minutes ago he tweeted, "We are under siege. The military has jumped over the fence and has now taken control of our home." Were there indications of something like this bound to happen? Of course, Bobi Wine has rebuked and rejected this early result that has come out, and one wonders, is this to further stop him from, saying anything further about the elections? But that is a tweet that just came in from Bobi Wine.
It was expected that the security forces would come down on him very heavy. One, because the Electoral Commission is still issuing the results. Two, the fact that he's already declaring himself winner of the elections and was going to ruffle the feathers not just of the Electoral Commission but of the security forces. And incumbent President Yoweri Museveni, who has repeatedly said that he will not allow anybody to interfere with the electoral process or with the peace of the country. So this is probably because he said that he would be giving directions on what to be done further. Now, Bobi Wine does not have security forces. His private security company that had been guarding his house was also forced to withdraw just a day to the general election. So this was probably expected. It is just a way of making sure that Bobi Wine is silenced and the country probably can move on after today when the final results are finally issued.
I saw a comment earlier saying that a lot of African leaders will not want Bobi Wine to succeed, as it will be a sort of example for African youths as to the possibilities. Is that the sort of sense that, is around, in East Africa, if we can put it that way? Of course, that's where you're zooming in on.
Yes, indeed. And in countries like Kenya, where the elections has been followed very closely, there have been running jokes on social media that one would think that Kenyans are actually the ones who voted. But this is because Kenya also has a large youthful population that is yearning for a youthful leadership and is about to go to elections in less than 2 years now. And so they're looking at what is happening in Uganda and starting to compare themselves and to put themselves themselves in that situation. Some, however, in the region are actually sympathizing with Uganda. Countries like Kenya have had several presidents while President Museveni is still in power. President Museveni was in power with President Moi. President Moi retired. He has since passed on. Museveni is still in power. President Mwai Kibaki came after President Moi, and now there is President Kenyatta. In neighboring Tanzania, there has been Ali Hassan Mwinyi, there's been Jakaya Kikwete, there has been Benjamin Mkapa. So several leaders during the same time. In a country like Rwanda, there has been a civil war. The civil war has come to an end. Paul Kagame is still in power. In neighboring Burundi, in South Sudan, where he's a garant of the peace effort. So the whole region seeing probably that Museveni has overstayed his mandate. But also, it is a region with very young people, very vibrant people, and one of the most tech-savvy regions of the continent, with a lot of internet, startups and all that. And so people feeling that Museveni is not probably in tune with the young people. Probably why, if you look at his campaign videos, you will see him trying to jog, to do press-ups, to release rap videos, just trying to see if he can be young like probably his main competitor now, Bobi Wine.
Just in closing, as we wrap up our conversation, a lot of people have started to believe that social media is really an indication of, what's happening on the ground. And I mean, even in South Africa, we've seen that's not necessarily the case. If I'm to look at social media, there is huge support for Bobi Wine. And of course, we saw him when he was arriving, where he was to cast his vote, that there were huge crowds there to support him. But maybe you can talk to us about the old guard, the old support for Yoweri Museveni, that people might not, maybe if they're on social media, be very aware of. Maybe there is a huge support base that refuses to see Yoweri Museveni out of office. Maybe you can speak to that for us.
Yes, indeed. And President Museveni, among the older populations in Uganda and probably even parts of Western Kenya, is seen as a unifying factor. He came into the country, he came into leadership through a coup at a time when people in Uganda had suffered so much under Idi Amin Dada. And so for those people who are older, and that is in most cases a population that actually votes, the older women in the rural areas and also the older men in those rural areas, they see President Museveni as a man who can assure the country of stability. But it is difficult to tell if indeed this is the case, because there is a huge youthful population. Unless we are able to look at the registered voters and be able to analyze that list and say, there were 17 million registered Ugandan voters, out of whom this and this population were youth who actually cast their ballots. But we have seen it across Africa. I think here in Kenya, we have presidential candidates who received a lot of hype and support on social media. But on the day of the ballot, they were shocked by the results that came. And indeed, some of them have been called social media candidates. I'm not quite sure if that is the case for Bobi Wine. We have seen him being able to draw large crowds, even in the rural areas. But remember, also, crowds cannot quite tell if they will translate to votes. But the fact that the playing field has not been level all this time may also have played into the whole election and maybe cost Bobi Wine this particular victory.
All right, interesting indeed. Sarah Kimani, thank you very much for that update of what's happening in Uganda at the moment and those elections. Thank you very much. Sarah Kimani, our East Africa correspondent, giving us an update on the elections in Uganda. It seems that Bobi Wine has indeed lost those elections, and incumbent Yoweri Museveni winning. All right, let's take a short